Welcome back to Crime Stoppers. I'm your host, Chip Brown. The Davenport Police Department is committed to excellence in law enforcement and are dedicated to the people, traditions, and diversity of the city. They provide services with understanding, response with compassion, performance with uncompromised integrity, and law enforcement with vision. Join us in the studio is Chief Larry Holden. Chief, thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, a little bit about Davenport. I know we were talking just a little bit earlier, and your city has had some just tremendous growth.
Yes, it has. Probably over the last 4 years, we were somewhere in the area of about 5,000 population, and now we're up to 12,000. We're one of the top 5 fastest growing cities in the state of Florida and the top 25 in the nation. And we're expected in the next 3 years to reach somewhere around 18,000 for population. So it's a steady growth. We have numerous subdivisions in, and homes are being built just daily.
Now, I'm assuming a lot of this is because of that small town feel that certainly that Davenport has. But I'm assuming these folks are probably driving to different areas for work, or they're retiring, or what kind of you see?
We're seeing a lot of the Orlando. They're reaching out basically, and people are Disney, SeaWorld, them kind of businesses are what we're noticing our population to be.
Now, that's got to have an impact on the services that you're able to provide and that they expect from your department.
Well, definitely, and it's a catch-up game, to stay in pace with the growth. But we believe in service, and they like seeing the officers out patrolling, the officers talking to the citizens and residents. So it started to become a strain because of the growth and trying to keep up. We could talk about it later, but the whole coronavirus, it's kind of stifled the budgets a little bit for this upcoming budget, because everybody kind of wants to see what's going to happen and how it's going to turn out. So it's slowed our growth as far as the department itself.
Well, I know that we talked about it just earlier, but that small town feel, people really like that. I don't want to use the cliche, the Mayberry feel, but that's really what I think people want to go back to and enjoy so much about being in an area like Davenport.
And that's one thing. When I first started Davenport 8 years ago, it was definitely that Mayberry feel. Since then, we've had all this growth, but the residents still expect it. And we kind of compare ourselves to a Publix type, to a Walmart. Walmart, you're just going to cover a bunch of people. Publix, you're going to get a little bit more personal service, and that's what we try to provide to our citizens, is that personal service.
Well, certainly it must be working with all the growth that you've been experiencing.
Oh, yeah.
Kudos to you and your city.
Well, thank you.
Now, you had talked a little bit about the COVID and the impact that has. I know that you offer a number of services. Some of those have continued, some you've had to suspend, and I mean, it really has such an impact, not only just on you, but on the city and the workforce.
Oh, it's changed the way we've policed. When we talk about the contact, now we ask residents to come outside and talk to us instead of going in their house. Maintaining that social distancing. We used to do fingerprints, that we've stopped doing that for now because of the closeness. We actually got to put our hands on your hand to do the fingerprints. Now, we still offer services like VIN checks and notaries services, and eventually we're going to get back to the fingerprints. Hopefully this will get past us next year, and we'll be able to get back to doing them kind of extra services that we do. I mean, we had snow cones that we'd give out to the kids, every year. We haven't been able to do that this year, so we'll look forward to that. We are starting our community garden back. At least that way we can maintain some social distancing, so the citizens come and can plant some vegetables and stuff and grow them with us.
And there's probably a lot of people that have never even tried to grow anything in a garden.
Right. And with the new developments, old Davenport had large lot sizes, and they could have their own gardens and stuff. All these new subdivisions, they just don't have the room to grow anything. So hopefully we're going to give them an opportunity to come and grow something. We have an advantage. We have some land instead of just all concrete around the police department. And that way, we come out and you talk to us. We don't have to talk about police stuff. Let's just be friends and build that relationship.
And that's where it all starts from, is just getting to know people and letting them know you. It's so important. Now, I've noticed also that y'all are in the midst of building a new community center with all this growth. That's going to be a pretty important aspect.
We are excited about that. Finally, we're going to have something for the people, the residents in Davenport to come to. They don't have to go away to do it. It's about a 40,000 square foot conference center. We'll be able to seat 400 people in our dining facilities, 2 full-size basketball courts. We're going to have a weight room, computer room, arts and crafts center. So we're looking forward to getting this going. We're hoping for September of next year. We've already broke ground on it. And it's going to get something to bring the residents so they don't have to leave our community to have activities. And then with the coronavirus being gone, hopefully by then, we'll be able to get out and intermingle with the citizens inside the community center also.
Yeah, that has such a big advantage to keep the people in your community, just to get to know them and just to help the community continue to grow. It's just
correct.
And that was a big step. That's a big commitment on the city's part.
Oh yes, yeah, it was about $7 million commitment, so it was a big step for the city.
Yeah. Well, now you had mentioned about snow cones and Christmas is getting ready to come up. Now you're one of the few cities that still is going to have a Christmas parade and a Winterfest activity. Tell us about that.
We're proud of that. We also had our Halloween event that a lot of cities canceled that too. We're not going to let it beat us. We're still going to do it. We're going to try to maintain social distancing the best we can. But with the Christmas, Winterfest and Christmas parade, the Winterfest starts in downtown at 4 o'clock. It goes from 4 to 9. We'll have vendors, crafts, and then the parade will start at 6 o'clock.
Now that's on December the 12th.
December the 12th.
And that's a Saturday, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's always such a big thing, I know the kids get all excited about it, and it's just such a great part of, again, Mayberry, I guess.
Yes, sir.
On that. Now, I do notice that, like any other department in this area, you still have your crime that goes on, regardless of all the interactions that you have. And I know we had talked a little bit about, people just being safe in their houses and their property and their vehicles, and using some of these different, apps, that they can check on, for home safety and rings and all that kind of stuff. Give us a little bit of insight into that and what your feelings on that.
Well, I'll tell you, great apps. There's like a Nextdoor, and the Ring has a neighborhood app for with their cameras. But what we're finding the trend is they'll post it on these apps saying, "Hey, did you see them people trying to open my car door?" And then 5, 10, 15 comments down, somebody finally says, "Did you ever call the police?" So what we would like to tell everybody is, when you see something suspicious on your camera, call us first, and then you can post it on the app. We're fine with that, but get us on the way there. And it's that same thing. You see something, say something. We got to help each other. So anything suspicious, call the police departments. That's our job, is to come. I'd much rather have my officers show up there and it not be anything than show up there late and miss, a crime that occurred.
Yeah, it certainly keeps you up to date on where things are happening, and as we know, throughout the county and throughout the state, the flippers are going around, as we call them, that are flipping the door handles, and it's just the simple act of making sure your car is locked.
I can't emphasize it enough. And like I say, it's every community. Thieves are lazy, and if you take away that opportunity and make them have to work for it, they'll go somewhere else. And you can't say enough, lock your car doors. I mean, that's all they do. They get out and they walk down a subdivision and 2, 3 people are pulling door handles, and it's open, unlocked car doors. If you're going to leave your car door unlocked, take your valuables out, take your computers out, your wallets, your phones, your guns.
Yes.
Put them inside the house, so that way if they do, you forget to unlock it, then you don't have your valuables in there.
Yeah, and I think sometimes law enforcement, we are sometimes our own worst enemy. We make people feel so safe that they kind of put everything back on us, and they don't take the precautions that they need to lock their car doors and take their purses inside or lock them in the trunk. So these opportunity crimes just aren't there.
And you mentioned Mayberry. Back during Mayberry time, you could leave your car doors unlocked. You can leave your house doors unlocked, your windows open. We've progressed past that, and it's sad to say, but we can't be at that point anymore. So you have to take that a little extra effort and just lock everything up. And
like you say, there's so many small things that are so valuable. Your cell phones are now basically computers. There's all kind of contacts, and I guess going back to the Mayberry days, if the biggest thing that maybe still from Mayberry may have been, locked in a car. I don't know if there's anything they would have taken in a car. But now you have, oh golly, just so many handheld devices that people use every day, and you don't realize it. I had an incident of mine where my phone just died, just quit, And all of a sudden, you know, my contacts and my appointments and the things I've done that I refer back to, and it's like starting all over. And if somebody hasn't experienced that, even with the theft of a wallet or a purse and getting a new driver's license or social security card, it is, it's a real pain.
We are so tied to electronics anymore. I mean, your laptop goes down or something, like you said, you know, everything evolves around, you know, electronics and computers anymore.
I recall when, you know, back in the early days in Lakeland, when we started with the computers in the cars, they were just Radio Shack tandies. That's all there was, you know, and it was groundbreaking. And now computers are in all the cars. They have the computer-aided dispatch. You know, they can tell you what it is on the street. Used to have map books that we'd pull out, you know, to see, you know, where this street was or something. And now it's a double-edged sword. It has really advanced the capabilities of law enforcement, but at the same time, you still have to sometimes go back to the cautiousness that you had and the way you did things in the early days.
Oh yeah, and let that mobile dispatching go down. I mean, you're lost. You know, trying to remember, okay, where's that street at? And so it's definitely, it infects us.
Yeah, indeed it does. Well, Chief, thank you for being with us today, and we're looking forward to you and your Winterfest and the Christmas parade and the things you're doing, and we'll get a report on you a little bit later on how that community center is going.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
For more information on the Davenport Police Department, you can check them out at www.mydavenport.org. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crime Stoppers Show. Keep in mind, Heartland Crime Stoppers is an organization that helps law enforcement solve crimes through anonymous tips and monetary rewards. It encourages a cooperative partnership between law enforcement, the media, and the community to ensure security and enhance our quality of life here in Polk County. For more information on us, you can check us out on the web at heartlandcrimestoppers.com or follow us on Facebook at Heartland Crime Stoppers Florida. Until next time, keep in mind, it's a crime, and you can help make sure that they don't get away with it.